Hello and welcome to week 3 of our virtual accessible yoga class. I hope you're enjoying practicing and taking time for yourself to do that. Each week we'll do some things that are the same. I'll add in some new things. I'm open to requests. If you ever want to post or send me a message about a specific posture that you would like to request, I'm definitely open to it. So today's class, I do have my blocks here, and if you do not have blocks, as we talked about last week, you can use rolls of toilet paper. Or if you do not have that blocks, I hope you have toilet paper, but if for some reason they're not handy, it's okay because we can make do without those. So glad you're here. Let's go ahead and begin. And let's just begin by taking a moment to center, sitting up nice and tall, away from the back of your chair, feeling your sit bones on the surface below, your feet with knees bent, your feet resting on the ground, on the earth. Maybe pressing into the earth a little bit to help your spine lengthen. Just relax your shoulders down and back, chins parallel to the floor. Let's just take some time to notice our breath. And just take time to notice your body. Any areas that are feeling like they're in need of some love, take a nice inhale in and just imagine sending that healing breath there, letting it rest there for a bit. And on an exhale, just releasing that. Disconnecting a bit with the outside world for the next half hour or so. Taking time this morning to breathe, to move the body, to be gentle and aware. And I invite you to open your eyes for a bit, just so I can share with you our mudra for this week. It is Vaikara mudra, and it is the gesture of the protective shield for protection in the face of all challenges, especially forces of nature and things beyond our control. So you just make a nice soft fist with your thumb on the outside, and maybe it rests on the second knuckle of the ring finger, or wherever is comfortable. You bring the right arm across the body, and then the left arm. And just take a nice deep breath here as you hold Vaikara mudra. You can go ahead and close the eyes if you'd like while I just share a little bit about it. The Vaikara mudra instills a sense of unity with the 5 elements: earth, fire, water, air, and space. It helps us to discern between safe and potentially harmful environments. It relaxes the muscles of the upper back. It supports the health of the immune system. And it cultivates a sense of empowerment. That's a lot. And our mantra to go with Vaikara mudra is, I am attuned to the power of nature, giving me absolute safety and serenity. So just take another breath or two to hold Vaikaro Mudra. And then when you're ready, you can soften your gaze and bring your hands to your lap. Let's begin by inhaling, arms to sky. Exhaling toward the earth. Arms to sky. Breathing in and to the earth, bringing out. Let's do one more. What a delightful way to begin our practice. Absolutely. So we'll be warming up, and I'd like us to begin with a little thymus tapping. And you just can take your forefingers and tap about right here in the center of your upper chest. So thymus tapping is great for times of stress. And think about it, it's the place where Tarzan would beat his chest. You can even make the sound if you want to. Ah, ah. My voice isn't ready for that this morning, but I can tap here. And it's also beautiful for boosting the immune system. You can switch hands. So anytime you just feel like you're needing some calming and some calm strength, you can just go ahead and tap here. I wanted to share that with you today. This is another tool to have in your toolbox to keep yourself safe and well. Let's begin our warm-up. So go ahead and lengthen the feet, and we'll curl and splay the toes a couple of times. And then maybe rest the feet on the ground, but lift the toes and just try to lower one toe at a time to the ground, and then lift one toe at a time. So just kind of slowly rolling back and forth. You can start with the pinky toe or the big toe. Just moving our toes. And then bringing the heels back in underneath the knees. And we'll lift our heels and lower them. Lift the front of our foot so that only the heel is on the ground, and lower. Let's do that with the breath. Inhale, heels up. Exhale to the earth. Inhale, front of foot up. Exhale to the earth. Just do that a couple of more times. Warming up our foot, both feet, and our ankles. Getting them ready to move in our practice today, and getting them ready for our day. Okay, go ahead and relax those down. And we'll just warm up the knee joints nice and slow. You can slide the foot back and forth on the floor, or you can just rest it ever so slightly. If it's helpful, you can press your hands on the chair for support for your spine while you're doing this. We'll go to the other side. It's kind of nice. It helps me sit up straighter when I do this. I'm just going slowly, going for that full range of motion that feels comfortable. And that may be different for each knee. All right, we'll rest both feet back on our ground, and we'll do a little hip walk. So with hip walking, we just move, go side to side, walk our hips towards the back of the chair. And once you get there, we walk our hips toward the front of the chair. And you can do that a couple of times. It helps to warm up our hips, gets the body moving. And then when you come back closer to the edge of your chair, you can go ahead and take a moment there. So we'll inhale and bring our hands up. Exhale to our thighs. Breathing in and bringing both hands to one knee. Inhale. And both hands to the opposite knee. Breathing in. And both hands to the other knee, raising the foot. And let's just hold it here for a couple of breaths. You don't have to lift the knee high. You'll feel that your leg is working, even just lifting it a couple of inches off the floor. We'll relax that down. Bring our hands up and back down to the opposite knee, raising that foot, holding it there, breathing. Then when you're ready, lower that. And we'll just go back and forth, and we'll do that a couple of more times. Breathing, inhaling, exhaling, and inhaling and exhaling. Nice. All right, so let's take a little visit to our spine now, and let's begin. Let's just begin with some spine circles. So we're just drawing a circle here, slowly going one direction, and then when you're ready, you can do the other direction. Just getting it moving. And then we'll come into our cat-cow, bring the heels of our hands into our hip creases as we lift our chest and inhale. Just keeping the neck aligned with the spine. Think of it more as lifting the chin and not putting the neck back. Okay. Inhaling. And then as we exhale, we'll just take our hands on our legs up to our knees as we lean back, round. Let's do that a couple of more times. Breathing in. Breathing out. Then we'll come back to center and bring our hands to heart center and our elbows out to sides. And as we slide our hands one direction, we'll look the opposite direction. Coming back to center, the other side. We'll do that again on each side. Nice and slow. Noticing what you're feeling and where. And this time, as we go to the side, we'll lift the leg of the direction our gaze is. And come back to center. We'll go to the other side and lift that leg of the direction of our gaze. Coming back to center, we'll do that one more time on each side. And back to center. Nice job. Go ahead and roll those shoulders back. Nice and slow. You can start with a small rotation and then increase it. And if you want to bring them forward, do a couple of forward circles, that's awesome too. And we'll shrug them up high. And then bring them down. Imagine someone pressing on your shoulders. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. All right, let's go ahead and very gently take our gaze to the left and back to center and to the right and back to center, and now we'll reach one ear toward that shoulder. Now be mindful, this shoulder might want to help. It gets to stay put. So just reaching your ear toward your shoulder. It's not going to go that far. Just try to relax your shoulders and just breathe. And then after a bit, go ahead and look down at your shoulder. Notice where you're feeling that. Gently using fingertips to intensify that stretch if you like that and if that feels good in your body. Then bringing the gaze back forward and head up to center. We'll do that same thing on the other side. So reaching the opposite ear toward that shoulder, being mindful that this one isn't wanting to help. And then go ahead and look down toward your shoulder. Notice what you're feeling and where. And if you would like to bring more lengthening there with gently pressing the back of your head, you can. Or you don't have to. Take the gaze forward and up. You can just massage the back of our neck a little bit. Just gently. And maybe even the shoulders, just a little bit. And go ahead to the other side. All right, now just shake everything out and we will go ahead and move into our asana. We'll begin with a seated sun salutation this morning. So we'll find our mountain pose. Okay, so knees are bent at about a 90-degree angle, feet pressing down into the earth, activating the legs, sit bones pressing down into the surface, spine long and tall, shoulders relaxed down and back, hands out to sides, palms facing forward, chin parallel to the floor, and just take a few breaths here. And then we'll inhale, bring our arms to the sky. As we exhale, just come down into a halfway forward fold to start with. So just bring the forearms to the tops of the legs. I like to use a bit of a wider stance when I do a sun salutation. Just more comfortable for my body. And we'll inhale, come up. And exhale, hands to heart. Let's do that again. Breathing in. Exhaling. Just a delivery. Heel. It's okay. Go ahead and fold forward. And come back up. And hands to heart. Heel. Heel. Come here. It's okay. Yeah. Joys of filming at home. All right. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Forearms can stay here. Or if you'd like to come down lower, you can, and relax the head and neck. Then bring the hands up to your legs. Press up. And we'll lift the right leg. And hold that. Seated lunge. Let's lower that leg to the ground. And we'll put our hands right here on the sides of the chair and just lift the heart for a cobra. Just breathe here a couple times. And coming back to center, we'll lift the other leg for a seated lunge. As we lower that leg to the floor, we'll inhale, arms to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Coming down where it's comfortable for you. Inhale, hands to sky. And exhale, hands to heart. As we move into a downward dog, you have options. You can simply press your feet out as if you were on the mat, and imagine that floor is vertical and you are pressing on it. You can reach forward with that, or you can use the blocks. And as we come down to a forward fold, you can walk the blocks out in front of you. That gives you a better lengthening of your spine. So you can press into the blocks. And then to come up, we just walk the blocks back to forward fold. Bring the hands to the legs and press up to a seated position. Let's try that again. Inhale, arms to the sky. And exhale, come forward into a downward dog, either forward, outward, or down to your blocks and walking those out. Then gently walking the blocks back, coming back up to a seated position. Inhale, bring the arms up, hands to heart. Breathing in, arms out to sides, and just a very gentle twist to start our day. Just looking out to the side. Take a couple of breaths here. Then we'll inhale, arms out, and exhale, we'll go to the other side. Inhale, arms out to side, and exhale, hands to heart, and revisit and find our mountain. Set these aside for later. So, feet are about the length of a dollar bill apart, or maybe a little farther. Honestly, just wherever they feel it's comfortable you. Pressing into your feet, feeling your legs engaged, sit bones, rooting into the surface of the chair. Relax the shoulders down and back, hands out facing forward, chin parallel to the floor. Tadasana, or mountain pose, activates all 5 elements. And as you stand or sit here in your Tadasana, I'd like to share with you about those 5 elements. Just 3 sentences. Everything in nature is made up of 5 basic elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Knowledge of the 5 elements allows us to understand the laws of nature and to use yoga to attain greater health, power, knowledge, wisdom, and happiness. So that all sounds pretty good. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and soften your gaze and open your eyes. So we will begin with Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2 pose. You have options here. So I like to bring one leg out to the side if I'm in the chair, and that's my front leg. This leg extends outward, and I'm able to practice Warrior 2 like this. If you would like to stand to practice Warrior 2, you take one foot back as far as is comfortable for you. Bend the front knee, hips facing the long edge of your mat, and arms out to side. So we're going to hold Warrior 2 for a few breaths. Feet pressing into the earth. Shoulders relaxed down and back. Hands can be relaxed too. Drawing in that waistband. Building strength, stability, courage. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring the arms down. And you can straighten that front leg. So from here, we'll be moving into triangle. So you have some options there. So for triangle, we start with our feet in the same spot, but our front leg is straight, arms out to sides, and then you just shift or shimmy your torso to the side, and then you tilt. And this top shoulder needs to be back, so you're not coming forward. Then you can reach down to a block, or you can just stay right here. I'm staying right here. Go ahead and continue to hold triangle if you're standing, and if you're seated, it's much the same. You'll just go ahead and straighten that front leg as much as you can in the chair, and come from warrior two, arms like this, shimmy to the side, and tilt. Now you may be able to reach a block if you have one, or that roll of toilet paper, or maybe you put your hand on part of the chair. Very strong pose. Triangle activates all 5 elements. All right, let's bring it back up. Bend our front leg for warrior two, and then lower the arms and bring both feet back to center. So come up to mountain if you're standing. Just take a moment to kind of do some rebounding, kind of bouncing with the lower body, and just kind of arms swinging, shake things out. Yeah, 2 very strong postures. So let's go ahead and do those on the other side. So if I'm in the chair, my front leg is bent and my opposite leg is outstretched. You know, just wherever. It doesn't need to be behind you, just stretched out here. Okay. Then we are facing the long edge of our mat, arms up, shoulder height, looking out over that outstretched arm, looking out over that bent leg. Same as if you're standing. Just being mindful, your knee is not wanting to lean in. Sometimes that happens, so just keep it nice above your ankle there. And holding this posture, pressing our feet into the earth. So if we're seated, we're consciously pressing our feet into the earth as if we were standing. Virabhadrasana 2. Then we'll go ahead and relax our arms down. Give them a break before we move into triangle. So for triangle, we go ahead and straighten that front leg, or if you're seated, it's your side leg. So both legs are straight, but we start here with our warrior arms. Shimmy towards the front leg, and then tilt, come like this. So being mindful of that top shoulder staying back, and sometimes there's a tendency to lean forward, but we want to keep our shoulders in alignment, nice and straight. Now my fingertips are reaching a block on this side, and it feels okay. I wasn't trying, it was just there, and there we are. If your neck gets bothersome, you can look down. Triangle. Then bring your arms up and go ahead and lower your arms at your sides. Bend that front leg. Step your back leg forward. Bring both feet and come back into mountain, Tadasana. So feet pressing into the earth, sit bones into the surface. We're just standing, engaging that core. Taking a breath here. All right, so next we'll move in to a practice just with a little crescent moon to get a nice side body stretch. So we can bring our hands out in front, and we can clasp our hands but keep those index fingers pointing and bring them up above our head. You can do this seated or standing. And then we'll go ahead and bend to one side. And then lift the heel of the side you're bending toward, and notice how that helps you get more squeeze on the inside and length on the outside. And we'll come back to center, lowering that heel. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and bend into our crescent moon shape. And then lift the heel of the side where we're bending. And notice where we can get more squeeze on the inside and length on the outside. And we'll come back to seated and bring our hands down before our heart. So Chakravakasana, or sunbird pose, is a beautiful one to practice balance, and it has some asymmetrical aspects to it, so that's helpful for our brain. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So if you're seated, you will outstretch, your outstretched leg will go forward and your opposite arm will raise. And then at some point, we'll ask you to lift that heel off the floor. And you can feel the sensation of balance. You can relax for a bit. If you're standing, the outstretched leg goes backward, goes behind you. Not far, just a little bit. I'll do it from the side so you can get an idea. Just steps back a little bit. And then you reach up with your opposite hand. And really pressing into that supporting leg and engaging your core, you see what it might be like to lift those back toes up off the floor. Or you can keep one toe on the floor. So if you're in the chair, your outstretched leg is in front of you, opposite arm is stretched upward, and you're lifting the heel off the floor. So we can practice this seated or standing. It's a great practice for balance and for your brain, and we're going for the sensation of balance. Go ahead and relax your arm down, take your foot to the floor, and come back to mountain. Just take a moment here before we go to the other side. All right, so now we'll outstretch the opposite leg, forward if you're seated, behind if you're standing, and raise the opposite arm. Now press down into that supporting leg, even if you're in the chair. The foot that's flat on the floor presses into the earth, reaching upward, drawing in that waistband, and lift the extended leg off the floor. Not high, like an inch. That's all we're going for. And holding and breathing. Holding the posture, not your breath. Then when you're ready, you can lower that foot, lower the arm, and come back to mountain. Let's do a little movement between chair and mountain. So for chair, if you're standing, you'll pop your bum back behind you. If we're seated, we lean forward to find that sensation and bring our hands forward. So both feet consciously pressing into the earth. So much so that you might even feel your bum raise up from the chair a little bit. Not off of it, but just raise a bit. We'll just take a breath here. And exhale to mountain. Then we'll inhale to chair. And exhale to mountain. Nice, long, even breaths, very calming. Inhale to chair. And exhale to mountain. Lovely. Go ahead and shake that out, do a little rebounding for you there. And we will go ahead and visit seated pigeons. I would invite you to even try this. If you're standing, have a seat and try this and just see how it feels. So you can go ahead and you're going to bring one ankle up on the opposite knee. If that doesn't work for your body, you know that you could just bring it up like this, and that's fine too. Okay? So bringing that up, nice tall spine, super straight, like the lid of a box, hinging forward an inch. Pausing to notice where you're feeling that. Then maybe coming forward another inch or a half inch. Be very mindful and gentle with yourself here. I'm surprised I'm even able to hinge forward this far this morning. We'll see what the other side's like. And then we just hold it there and breathe. Notice where you're feeling it. No pain, no strain. If it is, just come back up a little. Okay. It should feel good, not painful or difficult. And we'll come back up to seated. We'll lower that foot to the floor and go ahead and visit the other side. So first, getting started by rooting down in the supporting foot. This leg is pretty relaxed, whether the heel is on here or on the block. Sits bones pressing into your surface, nice long spine, and just kind of hinging forward. Like an inch or two, pausing, noticing, maybe coming forward a little bit more, pausing, noticing, being very mindful and gentle. Just a beautiful, subtle stretch that should feel good, should feel a release. If it doesn't, you come back closer to sitting upward. And you might just be right here, and that's going to be good too. All right. Lower that foot down. And let's just go ahead and do a little practice between Ardha Mandalasana, or half circle, and Parigasana, gate pose. So here we go. So let's begin with gate. So with gate, we're going to outstretch this leg. Again, I invite you to practice in a chair. You can do it with this knee on the floor if you would like, if that's already in your practice, but otherwise, stick with me here. All right, so this leg is outstretched. It's not going to be perfectly straight. This arm is here. I'm going to sit nice and tall, and then we're just going to reach this hand down the leg. Not bending forward, but just going to the side. It's more of a side bend, and just decide where that hand is going to land. You have to decide what feels best in your body. So just explore where it feels good and not a strain. And then you can bring the opposite arm up overhead. If that's too much for your shoulder, then you can just simply bring it right here, or on your hip. And we'll slowly come back up to seated. And then we'll move into Ardha Mandalasana, okay, learning. And we're reaching down this time and bringing this arm over. Now I do have a block here, so that's lovely. So I can come down and I can rest my hand on that block as I reach my opposite arm over my head, keeping my shoulder back. If I do not have a block there, then I would my hand would dangle. It feels a little less stable that way, so I could even just put one hand on my chair seat if I wanted to. We don't want anyone falling off their chair. And come back up. Let's go to the other side. Bring that side foot forward, and the other one extends out. Put my block here if I want it for when I do half circle. Okay, so nice and tall. Just going to take our hand down this leg not forcing anything. I might be here, or I might get off at this bus stop, come down a little farther. So this side is different from the other side. Maybe you'll find that too. So this is as far as I'm going. And then I'll take my other arm up and over. Half circle. Ardha Mandalasana. And we'll come back up slowly. Bring that hand down. And we'll go to the other side. Excuse me, that was Parigasana gate. This is half circle. Needed another cup of coffee. So here, we're just reaching down, bringing the hand over. This side, my hand is not reaching the block, my fingertips do, but the block is very helpful. If you don't have one, you could stack toilet paper rolls, or you could just put your hand on the chair. It feels really good on the outside of my body. And then come back up. Bring that hand down. Bring your leg forward. So sometimes I goof up. I don't edit it out because if we were in a live class, I can't edit it out then either, right? So, and like with the dog and the doorbell, you know, we just kept practicing. So we learn how to keep our focus and during a yoga practice, and we get lots of opportunities because there are often lots of distractions. So I just take those things in stride when I'm doing these videos, and I know they're not perfect, and honestly nothing is, but it's a practice I'm sharing with you, and I hope that you will find it to be a benefit. Let's wrap it up with some tree before Savasana. I want to share with you a cool version of tree that I saw Jivan Heyman actually doing in a video that he offered. And so we have our supporting leg. It's bent, and that foot is pressing down into the earth. Then the other earth, you just bring the heel over and press it up, put it up against the leg of the chair. Isn't that genius? I love it. I can fully press down into my supporting leg. This is beautifully open. I could move it to wherever is most comfortable for my hip. So I have my legs, I have my foundation, and I can decide where I want to put my arms. I like to say out here like a pine tree or up like an oak. And when I do this, and then I relax my shoulders down and back. So even though I'm in a chair, I have a drishti, or a focal point. So I'm looking at a certain part of a plant right now and breathing. Pressing down, my supporting leg is working hard, pressing down. If my arms get tired, I can bring them to heart center or out to the sides. It's my practice. And it's your practice. You do what feels good in your body. Okay, let's go ahead and relax the arms down, and we will bring this side leg back to center. Take a moment, and we'll go to the other side. So the opposite leg is going to be our supporting leg and moving down. Then our other leg, we'll go ahead and bring that heel to the leg of the chair. Nice tall spine, engaging the waistband here. Finding my drishti. So I'm looking at that plan again. You want to find something that isn't moving. It helps to improve your focus and concentration. And then decide where you want your hands. It can be here. It can be here. If you'd like to, if your arms are upstretched and you're feeling stable, you could do a little swing. Right now, all of our trees are covered in ice, having a little spring ice storm. It's only weather, and it will change. Bring your hands together, heart center. Go ahead and bring that foot to the front. By the way, I want to do a shout out for my shirt. It says Yoga for All, and it was designed by a son of someone I've done some training with, Diane Bondi. It's really fun. Thought it'd be a nice bright shirt to wear on this day today. All right, so let's come back to mountain. Feet pressing into the earth. Sits bones rooting into the chair. Relax your shoulders down and back. Before you move into your Savasana, which you get to practice for as long as you would like, it's very important to practice it, to include it, at least 5 minutes, but as long as you would like. It's a beautiful chance for your body to integrate all of the work you have done in your practice today. So I leave you with a mantra. I am attuned to the power of nature, giving me absolute safety and serenity. May I be safe. May I be filled with peace. May you be safe. May you be filled with peace. May all beings be safe. May all beings be filled with peace. So I bring my hands to heart center, expressing gratitude to be able to practice with you today. Enjoy your Savasana.